Hi, welcome back to Transform to One's channel. We are a faith-based organization whose vision is to foster transformational change through Christ-centered initiatives. One way in which we do this is by hosting our annual Navigating Trauma workshop series in person here in Jamaica. As we prepare for our upcoming workshop, which is themed Managing Grief, it will take place on November 1st. We've opened up a space on YouTube for persons who've experienced losses to share their journeys with us. We've chosen to do this to bring awareness to the realness of grief as real people experience it, and also to assist our listeners who've also experienced loss, just to help them to realize that they aren't alone and to share just how different our journeys can be. And that's okay, and in fact, it's pretty normal. While doing this, we also realized that it helped our guests to positively process their losses too. For this, we are grateful. Today's question is, the 5 stages of grief are denial, anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance, and some say purpose is the 6th stage. Are you able to identify what stage you are in now? Here are the responses of our guests.
Maybe because I don't think I'm angry anymore. No, I'm not angry anymore. So maybe I've passed that phase, but I keep going back to the first stage, denial, because I don't want to believe. I remember one time I posted something on my status and I said, life is so predictable. One moment I'm a young girl and the next moment I'm a widow. I'm like, really? How did this happen? Why did this happen? And my brother, I have a sister, but he was actually my favorite sibling. I cannot accept that he is no more. I cannot accept it.
So if there is a gray area between acceptance and denial, I think there more accepting of it. But I guess when you miss someone, denial creeps in, and I'm also using it as, I guess, the 6th stage. So I'm using it as a lesson for the future, or to move forward. So it helps me with some of the decisions that I currently make.
I have accepted. I think I'm at the stage now where I have accepted. I think I was stuck at anger and depression for a fairly long time. As I said before, I was very confused as to why this happened when it happened. I also run my own business, and that December was the best December that we've ever had. So I was stuck in a place where I was mourning the loss of my dad, but I had work to do and it was going very well. So I was very confused as to why I was experiencing these 2 extreme pulls of emotions. And I almost felt guilty for feeling good that business was going so well while this terrible loss had just happened. So I was stuck at that for a very long time. But I'm at the point now where it's not easier, and I still get sad. But I try to not be consumed by the feeling of being sad, knowing that, especially that's not how my dad was, and knowing that he wouldn't want me to be, living a life of pain and always being negative. So I've accepted it. It's happened, and I can tell people it does get a little bit more manageable with time. I won't necessarily use the word easy because it's still hard, but at some point you'll have to just come to terms with the fact that this has happened. How can I live with it? How can I honor them? And how would they want me to be living my life? Not that you're living for them, but that also helps in how you move forward. A little bit less now, but there would be times when I am convinced that I've accepted and that I have reached to a certain point as it relates to acceptance, and then something will happen that will have me doubting, like, have I really actually moved on? Have I really accepted this? Have I really improved? And it's not until I really stop and look back at the state of mind that I was in 2021, that I can definitely say, yes, there will be lapses. The feeling has come back of being angry, especially when I think about my mom. They were married for 20 odd years, and they were real partners. They were each other's sidekicks. When I think about the loss that she has gone through, there's still some anger there. But when I think of 2021, I have definitely come a far way. So in 2021, 10 out of 10 do not recommend anybody do this if you ever go through anything like this. I would replay the last moments of his life, and not in a healthy way. So I would replay the sound of the monitor, the sound of like his breathing getting less and less. I would replay the worst things, and I would just, for hours, replay. We had turned on the tracking on his phone, and when we had to pack up and leave, I got a notification on my phone that he has left the building, and I completely broke down, and I kept replaying that message coming to my phone until after a while I had to tell myself that there are better ways to remember my dad. That is not helpful and that is not constructive. That's not a good way to spend your time when you're already mourning a loss, to like replay the worst of it. So when I think about where I was in 2021, I can definitely say that I have come a far way. I have a ways to go, but I have accepted, and I am, trying to live my life the best that I can without having my dad.
I would say that I'm a mix between acceptance and purpose. Because acceptance shows up in the form of when I see videos with babies and children, acknowledging their presence and accepting what has been, but also looking forward to what will come. And then as a result of going through that loss, it's kind of the foundation of why I am a trauma-informed coach and wanting to help people to walk through the layers of healing, to discover pain, to discover purpose in pain and trauma, which is the title of my book, right? So it's a mix between purpose and acceptance. Yeah.
Okay, so the 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. And at the end, there's a 6th stage, which some others purposeful, purposeness, purposity. Dependent on the grief that I'm dealing with, I can be in any one of those stages because it tends to be fluid. For the sake of mommy, I think I advanced through that DABDA process rather quickly on the basis of she needed the support. So I jumped out of denial quickly. Man, the man dead. Why I'm eating somewhat as the anger. I don't ever recall bargaining. Depression, the moments when I've had my, downtime, and then just the acceptance of the situation. I went through that rather quickly because then I know mommy needed the support. For the others, I would have cycled through several things. But what is critical, and I actually recently just realized this, you are going to be an instrument, one way or the other, of purpose, regardless of your tragedy, regardless of your situation. Here's how that works, I've found. In expressing myself or letting other people know what I've gone through, they will, in one way or the other, learn something from what it is that I would have done or not done based on my situation or situations.
I would like to think that I am at the stage of acceptance as it relates to all the grief, both my job and the death of my grandfather and my aunt. However, it was interesting moving through the stages. Obviously, we're not living our lives, thinking about these things. But when you look back, then you might be able to identify where you were or what stage you were at a particular point. I can remember when I was at my aunt's funeral. The moment I drove into the churchyard, I remember this anger took over, but it was anger that I needed to be strong, because my aunt died. She would have left sisters, she would have left brothers. One of those sisters obviously was my mom, or is my mom, and another aunt that I am closer to. And so it's almost like I had to be strong, and I'm saying strong in quotes, for them. And it's almost like that anger came with this sense of protection and, just wanting to be there for them and holding them up. So in that moment, it wasn't really about me, but it was about making sure that they were okay and that, things were happening the way it was supposed to happen. So I didn't really feel my feelings until the end of the funeral. Actually, it was at the graveside where everything was almost over, that I actually started crying. For my grandfather, I don't think I cried until the night before the funeral, and I do remember what it was. It could have been something with the planning that caused me to break down in that moment. But again, it was just about getting things done and just being strong and playing my part, just for everyone around. So yeah, for my aunt, I definitely know there was denial in the beginning, because like I said, I would see her just coming back, and it's almost like, like it's a prank, like, oh yeah, you thought I was gone or whatever, but yeah, I'm here. And I remember being able to hear her voice, and yeah, I really did think that it was gonna be different. Like, okay, cool, she did die, but we've seen it in scripture, we've seen it in real life where people have died and they've come back. And I was getting nervous because the more time passed, I guess the more real it became that, yeah, she really isn't coming back, so there was that. And I guess there was some form of depression. One thing that I have identified that with death for me is that there is a part of it that my mind is just not able to process. I've just not been able to process it, and it's the fact that this person was here with you, and it's crazy because no, they're just not here anymore. It's like when I think about that, it's almost like my brain hits a wall. Like I just can't pass that point. There's nothing that makes it make sense for me. So sometimes even if I look at a picture with us together and I'm like, she was here, and then my brain is trying to compute like, but she's not here anymore. So even though I know it's true, it's just like it just cannot be processed. And I've noticed it in other instances as well. I mean, I had a cat who died recently. He was hit by a vehicle, and I had him for maybe 8 months. And I think that was one of the biggest things for me. Just the fact that he wasn't there, because we had fell into a routine, and him coming and going and always being there and all of that. And I realized that that is a real issue for me, like just not being able to identify or to process the fact that, yeah, you were here and then you're just not here anymore. But yeah, I think I'm at acceptance. Every now and again things will come up that will make me feel emotional, will make me think about them. It's always good to talk about the memories, but there are times when I really want to I really just wish I could talk to her. Really wish I could hear her voice. And also, I don't know if this goes to more of the process, but I know that while, like, after she passed, I was always concerned about forgetting her. And so I don't know if I don't think I can, like, really hear her voice, like, now in my head the way I could when she just passed. But I could hear her so clearly, and I worried about that. Like, the more I realized that I wasn't able to hear her anymore or just know her voice, like, I was like, is this bad? Because, like, am I forgetting her? And I don't want to forget her. And I'm at a place now where I don't. And I think that is something that's hard, but life really does go on. And as sad as it is, you just learn to live with all of it. And so it's not so prominent anymore, but I don't really think it takes away anything from what the person, meant to you or how important they were. It's just that life is just like that, because I am here and I have to honor that by living, and if I even take it further, I don't think that she would want me to just be here, not living and just being down and all of that. So, like I said, this grief thing it really is interesting, and it is also unique to every individual, and also is unique to every loss. So even though you might go through grief or lose something, whether it is non-death or death, the way you process it, the way you handle it might be different each time.
Anger, bargaining, depression, acceptance.
So I would like to think that I'm in the acceptance phase. I want to start over. Tell me the question
fine.
again.
The 5 stages of grief are denial,
Oh, that's what
anger.
I wanted. The 5